Hello to the two fans and welcome back. This is Chicago Ted coming to you with another episode of the Golden Aegis cast series. This replay is going to be replay ID 15793399499. So thank you very much for donating for this game. I greatly appreciate it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get on rolling. So with play going, free camera. Let's get a rolling on in. So, for the Radiant this time around, it's going to be Judge Justin on the Riki. Holy shit, that game volume went up a little loud. Anyway, Wally on the Earthshaker with Themp on the Templar Assassin. Ant-Man's going to be playing the Omni Knight with the Greedy on the Zeus. Meanwhile, for the Dire, it's going to be Naren Face on the Invoker with Smooth Front playing the Bristleback. Voidless Face going to be playing the Undying with Happy Face on the Pugna, and King Ryan playing the Sniper. So let's go ahead and actually take another look at some of this volume because that was a little loud.
To showtime.
That should be good. All right. So with that all said and done, let's go ahead and get on rolling on in. Looks like the Dire positioned themselves for both runes. Should be a pretty simple grab and go for them. Though Judge Justin is hanging close by with Ant-Man as well, maybe it becomes a little difficult on the bottom lane. But on the top, it looks like the Greedy a little bit far away. While he's in close by, though, this could help out quite a bit. It's actually Invoker heading up first, and it doesn't block him close enough to the rune. He gets himself away with it, and Judge Justin actually getting the bottom rune as well. I guess grabbing it right under the noses of Happy Face and King Ryan. So a little bit of salt going out either way. We saw the the Fisher there. I imagine that's where that's coming out. And so it's going to be Smooth Front taking sort of a carry role on the Bristleback, followed up by Voidless Face. In the mid, it's going to be Invoker going up against a Zeus. And now Zeus does pretty well in this matchup, and I imagine he'll be able to put out a massive load of damage out onto the Invoker. Meanwhile, bottom lane, it's just a casual Riki lane, sitting backed up by Ant-Man, so it shouldn't be that terrible. But he doesn't take that much damage in this lane. Like, they don't have any Sentry Wars, they don't have any real vision for him, and he's just going to kind of hang in. You know, if he takes any damage, whether it be from the Nether Blast or otherwise, he just goes ahead and regens it all back while in his invisible state, having a permanent 4 HP per second while invisible. And that only gets better as the permanent invisibility levels up. So Judge Justin and Ant-Man should have a fairly simple time in the bottom lane. The top, though, is going to be the interesting one to look at. It's actually a Templar Assassin going up against this. Now, TA doesn't have that great of a time, especially against an Undying and a Bristleback, unless she can get a good jump off on them, because they both, I mean, Bristleback not as much, but Undying has got a very low sum of armor with his IHP pool, so he's going to have to be worried about this, and actually takes a lot of damage from the first Metal Strike. Minus armor is hurting, but the Refraction Shield goes away to the zombies. Wally's still chasing, but not much he can do to this. Instead, he's going to run away, slowed up by the zombies. It could be a first blood for the Dire, as he's now going to walk through too. They're chasing him down. They should end up grabbing the stem. Walks up ahead, but the Refraction Shield goes down just as quick. He's got the magic stick, so he gets himself away with a pretty decent sum of HP. Wally as well having a magic stick, getting away. Not healthy, but enough to keep himself alive, and that's all you can hope for. Bottom lane, though, going ahead, grabbing some detection. Makes it a little bit tougher for Justin, but again, this permanent invisibility, giving him all this regen, as well as Omni Knight hanging behind him, makes it a lot easier for him to deal with all of the harass that they could throw at him. So, as far as kill potential on the bottom lane goes, I don't really see King Ryan and Happy Face bringing either of these two guys down. We got very close in the top lane, but still no kills happening. In the mid, I don't think, again, this is kind of one of those lanes where I don't see a kill happening either way. Zeus, again, puts a lot of damage out onto Naren Face, but he's got some decent regen up from the 3 quas, 2 points in quas, giving him a 7.1 HP per second regen, helping him out so much against this Chain Lightning. So, 3 minutes in already, we're sitting still 0-0, neither lane or none of the lanes showing any real I guess aside from the top lane showing any real kill potential, and the top getting, again, very, very close, but we've yet to see any real major sum of damage come out. I mean, sure, they sat under the tombstone and took a bit of damage, but really it was just the fact that they just kind of buffed up on those quill sprays and took a lot of damage after the third or fourth. At the moment, they've got plenty of magic sticks. Wally actually going for that magic wand. He's perfectly all right. They're both perfectly all right if they can avoid getting slowed down. Now, I can see this lane starting to go south as soon as Smooth Front decides to put a couple of points into Nasal Goo. But until that happens, I mean, they just kind of run away using their magic sticks, magic wands, whatever. Looks like Themp going for the brown boots. Wally still a little bit of a ways away from it, but he should be going for boots soon too. They can just run away, and that'll be the end of that. The zombies slowing a little bit, but again, without the added slow of the Nasal Goo, it won't be enough. It looks like they throw out a Fisher out onto Smooth Front. Themp has a refraction in 11 seconds. He's still got 2 strikes of bonus damage, but they're not quite able to do it. And what the hell? In the bottom lane, Ant-Man's actually going to get the first blood onto Happy Face. Judge Justin now looking for a second one onto Ryan. Doesn't have any Orb of Venom, so he can't slow Ryan down. Ryan's just going to turn around and right-click him. But Ant-Man smartly not continuing to chase on that one. Instead, he could have been turned around and easily brought down. Naren Face looking for Greedy, out of mana, so Naren could probably just chase him down here, but in fact won't do so. Instead, it's going to be Voidless Face. Now on the run from Themp and Wally. Themp has those brown boots looking for the Meld Strike. We'll get it off. One more strike is all he'll need, but he needs to close the distance, and Wally is going to body block him for a short amount of time. Now the final right clicker should fly out, and it will. Themp will get it, and the second kill of the game, both of them actually going towards the Radiant. First split happening on the bottom, though. That kind of lane that I was saying didn't have much kill potential. Well, I guess I looked at it the one way, the Pugna and King Ryan going up into the Radiant, but now it's the other way around. The Greedy actually looking for a return kill, putting the Dire on the board. There's another ward coming down, but the Greedy doesn't exactly care. A Purify, a Lightning Strike, and they will bring down both of them, Happy Face being the second. And then Ant-Man will just lay in to the Nether Ward. Of course, reducing that 8 mana per second region that you get, but he still had, what, a 0.1 left, so nothing too major there. And I think I spoke a little bit awkwardly there. Looks like the Radiant actually getting both those kills. I think I said that the Dire put themselves on the board, so that was a bit of a mistake on my part. The Radiant are actually up 4. The Dire have yet to put themselves on the board. And as far, again, as this bottom lane goes, I don't see them getting a kill. Though Radiant, they've shown they have a lot more kill potential than I initially thought out. And, you know, I guess when you've got a Riki who can leap on in, or at least he will at level 6, Ant-Man with the Purify, they've got lots of damage that can come out from the two of them that will almost come from a surprise. So the Sentry Ward helping out a lot, but the one that was a little deeper went down. And once this wave pushes past this range, it gets a lot scarier again. Wally up, though, to the top lane again. Dealing some pretty, or at least getting some pretty good, decent experience from this. He's sitting at level 4 right now. As far as Themp goes, level 4 as well. Got his bottle, got his boots. Making his way back up. Can they find a kill off this one? He's going to go ahead, throw a right click out, maybe Melt Strike on a Voidless Face. Do they have a Fisher? It will only hit on the Smooth Front. And so Themp will not continue chasing on this one. Mid, though, Naren Face is looking for Greedy. Can he finally grab a kill for the Dire? 2 more right clicks is all it seems it's going to take, and it will be enough. Naren Face finally getting a kill for the Dire team, sitting 4-1 right now, but the Invoker getting a nice solo pick like that, that is definitely something that you want to continue to be active about. So it looks like Dire going to put another aggressive Sentry Ward up further ahead in this lane. And that helps out a lot. Again, once it got past this range of the initial Sentry Ward, they started to become a little bit more scared. Now they can play a bit more confidently. However, the level 6 is coming up. In fact, it has been reached by Judge Justin, and they could probably just initiate on this one anytime they see fit. The Greedy's made his way down, and yep, both of them could drop here if they're not careful. The Greedy will move him from the side. Looks like their target will only be King Ryan for now. They'll bring him down in no time at all. Happy Face actually walking forward instead of running away. This could be the death of him, and it actually will be slowed down by the degen, or as that's happening, though, Smooth Front will bring down Themp and Wally going down in the top lane, ending up being a 2-for-2 across the map. Both of them going down, that's a little interesting, and I guess the Tombstone, having been playing a major part as Voidless Face, actually brings down the Wally, so yeah, Tombstone probably playing a pretty major role in that engagement, and, you know, grabbing a 2-for-2, not terrible across the map. The Dire, showing some signs of life in the top lane and in the middle. And we'll see if they can continue to push this one. I mean, now Templar Assassin is in towards the mid. She fares a lot better versus Invoker, especially a Quas Wex Invoker. If it was Quas Exhort, maybe he could drop out some Forge Spirits and burn down Refraction Charges, use the Cold Snap to lock TA in place. But with the Quas Exhort, it doesn't, or Quas Wex, it doesn't look like he'll be able to burn much through that. And instead, all it takes is some Phase Boots and a well-placed Psionic Trap, and the Templar Assassin can find a pretty decent solo pick. Judge Justin scouting out Naren Face, but it doesn't look like the Greedy was very much aware of it. Instead, looks like the Greedy will be brought down. EMP on the ground, so that will be the kill. Judge Justin coming in on a Guardian Angel flying through. Not quite sure where that was aimed towards, but Assassinate coming on to Judge Justin. They also use it to Decrepify, so it deals a lot of damage. But Judge Justin will get himself away from that and off to safety. Themp, though, using all this time to try to farm up the mid lane, is sitting pretty low on the CS board with only 20 at 9.5 minutes as compared to the highest, which is 40 at 9.5 on his own team, or on the enemy team too, and is looking to try to bring that back, still without phase, much more than a bottle and brown boots. So he really needs to get himself up with some decent goals, some decent experience, or else he's going to be pretty much a non-factor. You're looking for Templar Assassins to be that heavy, snowballing, pushing, just incredibly aggressive pacemaker. And with the amount of farm that she's got, I'm not quite sure she's been given the opportunity to do so. So an invisibility will be grabbed by Naren Face, makes his way up to the north. And this could be an easy kill onto Wally if they can find it out. But Wally walking back immediately to the Tier 1 tower. They have every idea this is going on. They saw the Invis pick up underneath the Observer Ward in the top lane. And looks like Wally will be just fine, though, with them being in an equal situation. Looks like maybe not. Naren Face is waiting in. She's got Refraction Shield. EMP drops down. Will she pop? It looks like she'll get it right away, but her mana still gets drained a little bit. Guess that was just from the the meld and the refraction. So as we're sitting into a pause, we'll go ahead and jump right past it. Oop, let's go back. So now Naren Face, refraction's back up. Naren Face needs a turn, maybe try to do something. The refraction's actually already down to the creeps, and now a tornado comes up, locking him in place. Themp should go down 2 more right clicks, but a meld strike, or a meld at least, will help him stay alive for now. In the meantime, the Greedy and Judge Justin will grab themselves quick and easy kills. They're actually going to get a third on to King Ryan, sitting underneath a Tier 1 tower. This Plague Ward hurting him, but it's not really all that much to dissuade them from just diving a Tier 1 tower. So as the Invoker attempts Thump in the mid lane, all of this just happening so quickly in the bottom. And 11.5 minutes in, the Radiant pulling a decent kill lead off this game. They still have to be careful of Naren Face in the mid, though, as he is really doing a hell of a lot in this game, already at 4 staff, looking for the Orchid of Malevolence. But he is going to lose his bottom Tier 1 tower, and I don't really think they have much to stop this. The Tier 1 drops, all that vision gone away. And they don't really have that much chasing power from the 3 of them, as it looks like they're just throwing out some shrapnels, maybe a decay, but it's not going to be enough to defend their Tier 1. So they see it drop, they group up in the meantime to keep themselves safe, keep them protected, and that's the end of that on the bottom lane. Looks like Judge Justin making a rotation in towards the mid, though. Naren Face does not seem to have any vision around this, so Judge Justin could easily set up a kill here on the Invoker if he's not careful. The pings come out, Greedy's up, Judge Justin's there as well. Does he go for the leap? He does not. Instead, Naren Face gets back, but this could be a false sense of security for him. He saw he got initiated on, there was no Riki to follow up. Maybe he thinks that their Riki is non-existent. King Ryan will make his way on in, though. Naren Face in a lot of trouble. They've got the Psionic, they've got the smoke, so he turns around into the smoke before stabs himself out. Tornado grabs 3, EMP down on all of them, losing so much HP because of it. Judge Justin now on the run. They do not have vision of him. And it looks like because of that, the other 2 will get away. That's the problem with shifting your focus on the Riki. He'll turn around and smokescreen, drop it on to Voidless Face. And with that, the Dire will commence a bit of a shallow push here in the mid. Thunder God's Wrath flies out, not killing anyone, but getting Naren Face quite low. He's got the 4 points in Quas, though, so he's regenerating 17.6 HP per second. That's pretty crazy. So he'll get himself up to full relatively soon. Throws out a tornado, EMP out onto Ant-Man, dealing a lot of damage. No follow-up, though. They've got the zombies. They've got full vision of him. They'll bring him down. Meanwhile, Judge Justin also very low. Assassinate still on the rise. They'll throw it out. Only 240 damage. No Decrepify this time, so he'll get away. Low, but still standing. And this mid-tier 1 should go down. That tombstone that was placed a while back, definitely showing some signs of being useful there. Smooth Front will meanwhile bring down Wally, but Them is not going to let this one go unpunished, or is he? Dealing a lot of damage, but Smooth Front's a little bit too fast with the Warpath. Now Them in a lot of trouble. Smooth Front, there's a Refraction Shield. Them will just turn around and meld down Smooth Front. And Naren Face should get a return kill. So this is still the Invoker dealing a massive amount in this game. Immediately buys back onto Themp. But he's got no real way to get into lane. I'm not sure what his plan is here. He buys Power Treads and he's making his way up. Maybe they can find Naren Face here. The Greedy already goes in, throws out the Lightning Bolt, but hits him on the ground. Only the static field connects onto Naren, and he'll back out underneath the Tier 1 tower. They've got support rotated in from King Ryan, though. He'll throw out the Shrapnel, EMP Tornado onto Judge Justin, but he blinks in forward. And, well, Naren Face with a Force Staff will get himself back and away to safety. And 2 rotations now, 3 rotations being spent for the top lane to continue to try to put some aggression on these 3 from the Radiant. But they got to be incredibly careful, as the damage of these guys can sneak up on them. Smooth Front will now go on in, though. Wants to find Themp. Do they have any way to spot him out through this meld? Smooth Front is actually taking a lot of damage here. Could he go down? They've got a tornado out. They're catching the Greedy. The Greedy will actually be brought down, but a Guardian Angel on Judge Justin and Themp will keep him alive for a short amount of time as Voidface gets taken down in the midst of his flesh golem. Themp, though, King Ryan looking for him. Then with the Assassinate, Themp will go down here. And Naren Face still alive, but that was a dieback on the Phantom Assassin, or the Templar Assassin now. Naren Face will back himself away underneath the Ghost Walk. They've got no detection for him, and in fact, quite the contrary. He'll look for a kill from behind. Maybe finds Ant-Man, but turns around. Not totally sure what his plan is going to be here. Though a huge Tornado EMP could rip through the Radiant lineup here. Looks like he'll just hang back for now. Has Cold Snap at the ready. Still. No Orchid. He'll reveal the Ghost Walk. He's still got it up. But this might be a fight erupting very soon. In fact, it will. The Greedy will bring down King Ryan as Orange. Wally is now in a lot of trouble between Voidless Face and Naren Face. They'll bring him down. Back to Ant-Man, though. It's actually the Greedy who could be in a little more trouble. They've got the repel onto him. Smooth Front now with the Nasal Goo is going to continue to chase Judge Justin, finding a kill, but Smooth Front might get the Greedy. No, he won't. The Meld Strike comes out and will bring him down. Ends up being a 3-for-1. Or 3-for-2. Judge Justin on the back lines, dealing a pretty immense amount of work here. They know in general where he is, but they don't know exactly. They've got a couple of Sentry Wards, though, so if he runs within range, they might be able to bring him down. And it looks like the Sentry Ward range. He'll walk within it. They know he's there. Tornado out, but it won't connect, and Judge Justin will get himself into the side shot. He does have a TP, but no mana to spend it. But I don't think they know this. Instead, Themp now in a lot of trouble. Refraction doesn't help you out all that much. Once it will be brought down by right clicks, but it looks like they didn't have the Shrapnel out soon enough, and he'll be able to back himself away. Meanwhile, Judge Justin still in the sidelines. And Voidless Face, he has been checking it with his Decay, but will now kind of hold back on it. And Dire will start pushing out the top lane. I guess looking for a kill. They don't know Them's there. They'll get 3-man Fisher. Them now trying to find the Psionic or the Psi Blades, but is not really getting it off. And a Decrepify onto Voidface will help him out. Themp is in the midst of it all. Now Happy facing a lot of damage. Judge Justin behind the lines just ripping into everyone. He'll stay alive for now. Do they have any vision of it? Looks like they do. Judge Justin still alive in the meantime. Voidless Face will get brought down. Judge Justin now is gone. And Narenface was, I guess, trying to look for Ant-Man. Ant-Man could just drop here after all. Smoothfront's in close by. They're trying to bring him down. Ant-Man, it looks like he will go down. Wally actually goes down as well, the Tombstone, doing absolute work in this game. It ends up being a 3-for-5, five-man wipe for the Dire team. And Naren and Smoothface, they're just going to go ahead and use this time to push down the top tier 1 tower. This Invoker doing a hell of a job so far in this game. Did he buy Observers and Sentries? It looks like he did, as well as that finished Orchid of Malevolence. So he's got Sentries. He really wants to make this Riki suffer. They're going to find the Greedy, and that will be a quick and easy kill. So far up ahead, out and alone, but Narenface using the Force Staff to get himself into that one. He could be in a lot of trouble here. He does not have Ghost Walk for another second or two, and he'll get brought down thanks to the Diffusal Blade just purchased up by Judge Justin. Themp now chasing out onto Smoothfront. Goes for the meld, but misses it, actually. And that's 1 point in Psyblades, reducing his range by quite a lot. The Sonic Trap will slow down Smoothfront. Do they have much else to slow him? They've got the Diffusal Blade. A Tombstone dropped on the high ground, though, and Voidless Face now looking to try to turn this one around. Does he have Flesh Golem? He does, but he's silenced up by the smoke screen. Now we'll be able to pop it. Points out a Decay, and the middle of them, they're just getting so damn low. They're getting brought down. The moment they step on the high ground, they realize, oh shit, this is not going to work out. Flesh Golem on top of all the zombies just kind of laying into them. And that was a very awkward chase coming out from them. A Diffusal Blade does get used by Riki as well, so without netting a kill, that's a little bit of a problem for your Riki. Those Diffusal Blade charges are not cheap. If you would imagine the recipe is what breaks it up. I mean, it's what, like an 800 gold recipe? Each Diffusal Blade is about 100 gold. Yeah, 700 gold. So a little less than 100 gold for each Diffusal Blade. That's not quite a sum of gold that you want to spend just to end up dying. And the sheer fact that there's finite charges too. You can't keep refreshing it with new recipes every time. You gotta buy an entirely new Diffusal Blade. It ends up costing a pretty penny if you burn through those charges a bit too fast. And that's where things like, if you're going for the slow, that's where maybe a Rod of Atos on someone else in the team comes in handy. You hold on to the Diffusal Blade because, well, mana burn's really nice, but for slow purposes, you probably want something else. Judge Justin, meanwhile, going to put down a smoke screen on top of Smoothfront. Narenface is in close by, though. They have full vision of him. He's underneath everything. An Echo Slam will be spent. He'll drop down with an EMP, but he is just a goner. And that's the power of a Zeus. They saw the Ghost Walk. They dropped down with a light, with some vision from the Thunderbolt, and they had perfect idea of where he was. And that's the problem. The fact that Ghost Walk puts down that particle effect debuff sort of thing is, it's very easy to know when there's Invoker close by. It's kind of like popping a smoke, and then when it breaks, you pop a dust. Like, you know when someone's close by. Them, meanwhile, popping the meld. Happy face. They've got the, okay. They had a Nether Ward. It looks like the Nether Ward alone will bring down the Greedy. Smoothfront going in a bit too close, though, and it looks like he'll be brought down by Judge Justin. Voidface is in close by, though. The damage amp is starting to become a major issue. Themp, the Refraction Shield is dying back, and look at the damage that they deal to him. He's still alive for the time being, though, as Judge Justin, it looks like he's going back behind the lines, but he just gets brought down. Now Wally on the run. Do they have an Assassinator or anything? They do, but he gets himself out of range, so they don't have to worry about it, but couple of quick and easy pickoffs for the Dire team. The Radiant not really doing too hot right now. They're back really far on the CS board. The net worth, Judge Justin is still pretty high up on net worth, followed by Ant-Man, but the rest of his team is sitting very poor. Themp being one of those poor people, and he'll get brought down again here in the bottom lane, making it effectively a 4-for-1 trade at the end of all things, and obviously a very humble Invoker here, but that is a couple of very nice kills for the Dire. And Radiant, I mean, they're back 2 kills. We can take a look at the gold and XP. I would imagine that they're back quite a bit. 5,000 gold advantage for the Dire. Experience now at 7,500. So the Dire looking pretty good in their advantage, and right now, all they really have to do is continue to take really good fights like this. Just, wait out for the opportunity to take a really good fight, and you should be able to roll out this game. I mean, go through, you've got the 2 tier 2s exposed. You can take those down very easily, get a nice 4,000 or so gold from the both of those. And then start to either slow siege high ground or go for a pick and then blast through onto high ground. I mean, there's really endless opportunities for them to win this game. We'll have to see what happens. I mean, we're 24 minutes in, and one can only imagine that the Radiant are not going to let this one go without a fight. They'll group up in the mid lane. Maybe they can start to find their fights here. Themp, though, I mean, is just feeling so lackluster. He's got a blink dagger, so maybe he can bring down the sniper if he were to blink back behind the lines with Judge Justin. And that could be a pretty decent kill. I mean, sniper's third highest in the net worth for the Dire team, so maybe he gives a decent chunk of gold, but really you want to bring down Naren Face, and that's a kill that's incredibly hard to get. He's actually going to go ahead, throw out a tornado, EMP on the ground, stabs himself forward just to get a deafening blast. Now, the assassin will fly through onto Wally. They've got a Guardian Angel, and what the hell did just happened? He let himself die to the Nether Ward. I guess maybe a Fissure. I wouldn't imagine it was an Echo Slam, but I could be wrong as well. But he'll get brought down to the Nether Ward. Guardian Angel spent now on cooldown. And Smoothfront will continue chasing onto this one. Goes for the greedy. Themp now onto Voidface. They've got the Decrepify, though. He cannot continue attacking. He'll get brought back down after the Yules or the Tornado. And taking so much damage. The Orchid out as well. And that's 4 down on the side of the Radiant and the Dire. I say they could just take 2 sets of racks off this one. Maybe the Radiant can defend the second one, but at least a set of racks seems reasonable for them in this game after a fight like that. And 25 minutes in, this is seeming like this could very well be a 30-minute game, stomp-like game. And actually, Naren Face going back for a Wally. They've got the Orchid. Assassinate will fly through, or at least it's a little bit too late to fly through. And another quick kill. But they back off from the tower. Not quite what they probably should be doing here. I would imagine the tier 3 is easy pickings for them, but they put down a grave onto the high ground. Okay, with this tombstone, they have to get this tower maybe a melee racks within the realm of possibility for them. The greedy goes forward. Smoothfront's actually going to move on in. They've got a tornado out. EMP, deafening blast. The greedy will get brought down to it. Now, the tower is still standing, but King Ryan wants to go ahead and bring that one down. There's an Orchid onto Themp. He stays alive, and King Ryan can continue pushing into this base. There is a melee Rax that is well exposed, but the Dire, they're backing themselves off now. They know they won a couple of really good fights, and they probably can still win those fights, so maybe pushing is an imperative right now. But I do want to be thinking about, within the next 10 or so minutes, bringing down this mid and the top racks, and bringing down the bottom tier 2 tower. If they bring this one down soon, they could actually grab all 3 racks after one fight. So they've got to be very calm and collected about how they approach these next couple of minutes, because I could see this one ending within 10. I really could. But Radiant, again, they're not going to let this one go without a fight, and maybe off the back of a really well-fed Riki, they can start to turn some of these fights around. I mean, Riki fights can catch up to you. If you let him get behind you, if you let him burn down your supports, it can get very problematic, because he'll deal a lot of damage to your carries if there are no supports to kite him out, stun lock him, whatever. I mean, what can Bristleback do against a Riki? What can Sniper do against a Riki? Neither of them have any real way to lock him down. They could turn and try to man fight, but underneath the smoke screen, I mean, between the silence, between the mischance, they both just have very tough, a lot of difficulty. In fact, look at this. Judge Justin will go in onto King Ryan and bring him down. Now, Voidless Face and Smoothfront, they make their way in. A tombstone will drop pretty far back, and Ant-Man will just walk away from this one. Wally goes in with a Fissure, catching both Smoothfront and Voidless Face on the wrong side. It's an Echo Slam getting popped, but not really amounting all that much. Now with a Guardian Angel, maybe they can bring down Voidless Face here. They will bring him down. That's 2 down already. Smoothfront could be next here. Judge Justin has a Diffusal Blade in 1 second. will get up to the high ground. They pop out an Orchid onto him, but Smoothfront's already dead. Happy Face comes on in, Deafening Blast as well, not dealing a hell of a lot of damage. And now Judge Justin diving on in for that one. Another Diffusal Blade is at the ready for him, but that's already a 4-man wipe for the Radiant. And Naren Face barely getting away from that. Again, they had another Diffusal Blade charge to spend on him, but it looks like they are just going to go ahead and let them get away. And the counterassault from the Radiant side as, well, yeah, they get a 4-man wipe, and not much Naren Face can do to solo defend this. Now, he's going to drop down an EMP. He will go ahead and put a Chaotic Meteor, or a Meteor of Chaos. What is it? Chaos Meteor. Wow. Assassinate will fly into Judge Justin. Not going to bring him down, but leaves a pretty hefty bruise. And just like that, I mean, the Radiant have pulled themselves into a decent spot in this game. I mean, there was a 12,000 gold advantage. Experience about 15,000. Now only about 5,000 in each, which is a major problem for the Dire. Again, momentum means a lot in these games. And the fact that the Dire have completely lost their momentum, they don't really have a super hard carry to until the Sniper gets online, which he's starting to get there, but it's a pretty decent ways off. In bottom lane, though, Voidless Face is going to move on in. It looks like he went toe-to-toe with Themp for a short amount of time. Naren Face is actually close by. Will pop down the EMP and the Orchid. They've got a lot of damage onto him, but maybe the Orchid might not be enough. Orchid Burn will fly through the EMP. It does not seem to have a refraction shield. If he did, he didn't want to use it, so he'll get brought down. And Naren Face finding a decent pickoff for his team. Again, showing why, showing some pretty big, huge dominance in this game between the mid lane. And throughout this game, he's just been mostly on point. And of course, humble as ever. So this has become a flame war between Naren and the Judge. We'll see which one ends out being on top of it. Looks like Judge Justin wants none of it, though. And the Dire, they move on to the bottom lane. Remember, there's still a tier 2 that they can take. They haven't won a fight yet, so maybe it will be pretty heavily contested. It looks like the Greedy is making his way on in. And Smoothfront, Voidless Face, and Happy Face are all here. A Tombstone will drop, very aggressively positioned. Fisher flies out, but they have no way to bring down the Tombstone. They're now going to rotate in with Themp. Maybe he can start to make a difference in this fight, but he's so far hanging back. The zombies proving to be very difficult to deal with. And just like that, the tier 2 tower will drop. Wally hanging up to try to attack the Tombstone, but you don't want to do that when they're all there. Turns around for a Fisher, but the zombies are still attacking him. Smoothfront's still attacking him. They've got the Nasal Goo. They will chase. This Earthshaker's so damn slow. He's pretty tanky in the meantime, though. He'll eventually get brought down. Themp now in a little bit of trouble, but there are no zombies to chase him, so the refraction will be pretty tough to bring down. And a Guardian Angel, is that an Aghanim Scepter completed? It looks very much like it as it affected the towers. Yeah, Ags will be completed by Ant-Man. That helps out a lot in that fight, and with a global GA popped, the Dire will back themselves off. While it's all happening, it looks like Sniper will get brought down. I would imagine that was Themp to bring him down, but actually no, it's the Greedy. Zeus will go ahead. King Ryan, no match. What is a king to a god, I guess, is the phrase I was looking for there. And so the Dire, they back off. Again, they got to know their objective. They brought down a tier 2 bottom. They still have not brought down Rax, but they've exposed a set, which means a one-team fight is very, very good for them if they can push off of it. And the Radiant, meanwhile, they still have a couple of tier 2s to blow through, so if they win a fight, I mean, they've got to win like two or three fights to end up breaking the base. The Dire only need to win one. We could take a look at buybacks. I would imagine no one has it at this point in the game, and yeah, the only person with a buyback is the Earthshaker, so all it takes is one good fight for the Dire, and they could easily just straight up, I won't say win this game, but they could take 2, maybe all 3 sets of racks and make life very difficult for the Radiant team. Looks like, though, they'll stand back, play pretty passively. They've got the highest net worth in their team, and that is going to be Naren Face, but Sniper pretty far back on the net worth graphs, looking for whatever gold he can. though very slow on this sniper. Not exactly known to be the fastest farmer, and that's why, you know, the San or the SNY and the Mask of Madness used to be a really popular build on him, is because it allowed him to farm faster than he would with without the items. And a Maelstrom helps. It helps him push down waves, clear creep camps. You can see bursting through, pushing the wave incredibly fast. But what's this? It looks like Narenface getting in a very aggressive onto Ant-Man. Drops down with the Orchid, but Ant-Man just a little bit too tanky for him. 1,700 HP between the Aghanim Scepter, the armor helping out a lot. And now with the EMP as well as the Chaos Meteor flying through, they won't bring down Wally. Instead, Themp looking for King Ryan. They're going to go ahead and give HP, I guess, to the zombies. And Narenface and Voidless Face now up on the high ground. They'll bring down the Greedy. And now they'll turn and go after these racks. They've got a Tombstone down on the ground. Narenface will go ahead with some Forge Spears. That'll help burn down Them just a little bit. And the racks, well, they start to drop here, but they don't go down. They only get the ranged racks, and Voidless Face very low. They've got a Guardian Greaves as well. They just brought him up so far, but unfortunately it's not quite enough. Narenface now on the run. He's got a Ghost Walk, but immediately drops out of it with his auto attack. So he'll get brought down, and the melee racks are still standing. Meanwhile, Wally finding Happy Face elsewhere on the map. But Naren definitely having fun with this game. You can tell by the way he talks. Not really by the way he walks. He hasn't been having a decent time in the last couple of fights. And Smooth Front, you might have a back of bristles, but there's no way you can stand up to double tier 4 towers and the entirety of the Radiant team. So he'll give up what seems to be an unnecessary kill to that of the Radiant and the Dire. I mean, still with a kill advantage, but as far as presence in this game goes, they still have yet to bring down a useful Rax. They brought down the melee the ranged Rax, which is good, but the melee Rax is really what allows them to push. And the melee one is also the one to regenerate. So if you can bring down the melee Rax, then all you have to do is kind of poke at the ranged Rax every now and then, and it'll eventually drop. So with a Psionic Trap, looks like he drops on the high ground. Maybe they go for Roche here. This trap giving pretty decent vision of any rotations in to stop the Roche push. And looks like the Dire have every idea this is going on. You can tell by the amount of Wars vision that they have in this area. EMP out of the low ground. It will catch 2. Tornado up will only bring up Judge Justin. Actually, the EMP caught 3. I didn't see Justin there. The Greedy now with an Orchid will get 4 staffed all the way away. Thimp going after the Tombstone, but again, if you don't really have that much follow-up for it, you will be in a lot of trouble. Now, he'll blink himself away. There are zombies to chase him out. But for the most part, he should be all right. Lots of zombies everywhere. But the Dire now turn around. Maybe they go ahead and go for Roche on their own. They have the minus armor to do so between Smooth Front's nasal goo and otherwise, so looks like he most certainly should drop here. Yeah, you can see the raw amount of damage that they're able to output. Double Sentry Ward being put down. Just extra protection, double the protection against the Riki, and Smooth Front will grab the Aegis, so he can just sit up onto the high ground, right-click the melee racks, and the Radiant have to spend a whole lot to bring him down at least one time. To do so a second time will be very difficult. Not impossible, but it secures them at least one Rax in this next push. So it looks like Smooth Front will make his way up to the high ground in due fashion, and King Ryan will start to lay into this Rax. Now, he can just sit there on the low ground and attack the Rax. Not quite sure. He's on the high ground to get that mischance away. Deafening Blast will fly through, but in comes Stump. He's looking for the Sniper. He needs to bring him down. Sniper will actually get 4 staff back further onto the high ground. They've got the Thunder God's Wrath, which will secure Smooth Front. Though he's got the BKB, he doesn't have much backup anymore. Narenface will get brought down. Smooth Front now on the run, but there's nothing to save him. Judge Justin will chase, but they've got the Psionic Trap. Do they have any more defusals? They do not, but it doesn't even matter. Smooth Front will be brought down, and the entirety of the Radiant team, or the Dire team, again will drop. The only exception this time being Happy Face. But just like that, the Radiant pulling themselves pretty far into this game. Though defending is one thing, pushing is another, but at the moment, They just secured themselves a lot of advantage, and actually, Naren Face will buy back just to defend the possible or the almost inevitable high ground push. They'll go in, Tornado, EMP. The classic combo, not really amounting to much. He actually could drop because of this. The Greedy moving forward. They've got the Orchid to turn around immediately onto him, though. Judge Justin looking maybe for a jump, but Ghost Walk will come out right before the smoke screen will silence. And the Tier 2 eventually should drop here. They've got the Deafening Blast as well, though. A couple of zombies are right-clicking onto them. They might be able to bring him down. The Tier 2 ends up dropping, so he could have, in essence, meld, but do they have much vision for him? He's repelled. They've got the Assassinate, but the Assassin will get blocked out by the Repel. Now with a Sentry Ward, Themp will get brought down. And ends up being 2 will go down, the Greedy and Themp both dropping. But those are your lower net worth heroes on the Radiant team. The bottom 3, actually, Earthshaker and Wally, will still stand, but actually might go down here. Pops a Guardian Greaves preemptively, and that gets rid of the Orchid. So he's going to turn around, maybe try to chain stun onto Naren Face. Does he have a Echo Slam? He does not. Assassin will fly through. He'll stay alive, 450 HP. There's going to be a Sunstrike, and it will grab him! So the bottom 3 net worth, I guess, in the end, will end up going down. And maybe they can get their Tier 2 finally. It regens up pretty heavily. King Ryan now up on the high ground. Voidless Face is sitting in close by as well. And yep, the melee racks should drop. There is a glyph to spend, which will preserve it for a short amount of time. But all King Ryan has to do is just sit there and right-click it. And actually, it's going to be Voidless Face in a lot of trouble. This is a butterfly, maybe. Close to a butterfly onto Judge Justin. And the racks are still standing. All they had to do was YOLO it and bring it down. But the sheer power of this Riki now, and we mentioned it, he was the one that maybe would bring this game back. And now there's the Butterfly completed with a Sanjin Yasha, the Diffusal Blade being pretty inconsequential right now, as it's not really, you have no more charges left on it, but the mana burn's pretty good. Oh, mana burn as well as the fact that it gives a pretty decent chunk of agility too. 35 agility, 10 intelligence. Pretty good. The agility is actually equivalent or even more so than Butterfly. So as far as agility efficiency goes, the level 2 Diffusal Blade is actually a little bit more efficient. As far as, again, a cost to efficiency, or cost to agility. This is a 3,800 gold item with more agi than a 6,000 gold item. But the big difference is Butterfly, what it gives you is a little bit more in the long run. But have to see. Another Butterfly actually being purchased up by Themp. Not a very common item for your Templar Assassin, but definitely has its place. He's going to turn into Smooth Friend, deal a lot of damage from that meld, but not really doing a whole ton to the back of the Bristle. Now he brings his brought back down, and they're just going to chase him down. Smokescreen, Sonic Trap, actually dealing a whole lot of damage. He's still alive! They're keeping him alive, and these Kill Quill Sprays are just bringing down everyone. Only needs one more to get Judge Justin, and will do so. I didn't see it the most happy. He's got 8 on Ant-Man right now. Meanwhile, Naren Face going in for the bottom Tier 3 tower, and he should get it. Or at least he'll deal a pretty decent chunk of damage to it. Wally's in close by. He's got an Echo Slam if he wants to spend it. EMP on the ground. We'll get rid of a majority of Wally's mana, but he's still got enough to pop one good Echo. And the Radiant, again, they hold on their base, but that was a very problematic fight. And, I mean, Bristleback, you keep him alive, and that's what he does. Healing between the Octarine Core, between all the heals that they've got, the Undying and co, like, just massive, massive heals coming out. You can just see, one Soul Rip is all it takes, and they get him back pretty healthy. Though, this could finally be the death of him. He's got that Octarine Core. He's healing up pretty decently through it all. They got another Soul Rip. And again, these Quills healing him pretty decently. Voidless Phase will get brought down. And it looks like the Tier 3, or the melee racks will still stand. The bottom Tier 3 taking a good chunk of damage, though. More Forge Spirits up to attack it. Though they will survive. Gets brought down a good 200 HP since we last saw it. And Jesus Christ, this Bristleback, he'll now find a regen rune. And this is what? I want to say a Heart of Turesk, though I would probably expect a Satanic also, maybe. Given that lifesteal that you get from the Warpath ends up being a whole ton of regions. So you can sit there and just right-click through as well as get your Quill Sprays off. You shouldn't ever die. But Heart of Turesk could be pretty good. A good chunk of raw HP from the start will help to keep him alive long enough to get plenty of Quill Spray stacks off. Judge Justin looking for Naren face. Again, going for the Judgment, but Naren will get himself back relatively healthy. He's going to go for a Mystic Staff, and you know, okay, maybe not. He'll go instead for the Soul Booster first. So still going for that Octarine Core, instead though getting a different piece of it. Gives you a little bit more tank, the Soul Booster, giving raw HP and mana. In fact, about 400 of each, give or take, and it's a pretty decent item to try to tank up. In fact, that's why Leshrac actually build the Bloodstone. It tanks him up quite a bit. They're actually going to find Judge Justin with a Tornado, but they don't actually see him. They have no idea what they just did. Naren Face, though, going to pop out of dust. They know exactly where he is. They're going to chase out onto him. He's got that Butterfly, so he's evading some of these right clicks from the Sniper. Though realizing that Sniper might go for an MKB from here on out. They get the Orchid, though the dust will wear off in the end. He's still alive. A little bit too tanky to get brought down by just Naren Face and King Ryan, especially with the evasion. And Sniper, I mean, he's nowhere close to the MKB if he wanted to get it. So even if he could get it, he was a pretty decent sum off. Meanwhile, Smooth Front up very far ahead. He doesn't have his Heart of Turesk yet, but effectively is getting all the HP he would get normally just without the bonus region off of it. And a Yule Scepter up, so was the kind of the Yule's bait out. Though he should still go down Guardian Angel, helping out a lot. The Assassin will fly through and bring him down in the end. Smooth Front now will chase onto Ant-Man, but Judge Justin is looking for some kills of his own. King Ryan has a Shadow Blade, though, so gets himself away underneath the Sentry Ward, too, so Judge Justin cannot chase. An Echo Slam on the Smooth Front, but the Octarine Core is helping him stay alive. Just so much damage that he can output here, who might finally go down, but the Octarine helping him up. They have another Soul Rip, too, if they want to spend it. Judge Justin now on the run. Smooth Criminal could just drop here. He needs to stay alive through this. They've got the smoke screen, and they will bring him down. Octarine being good when you're in the middle of 5. Not quite 1v1ing, though. And so, King Ryan will start to lay into this Tier 3 bottom. Backdoor protection's still up for a very long time, though. And now King Ryan, a lot of trouble. Themp will go on in. He's got the Shadow Blade, though, so gets himself away. Voidless Face and Naren Face are in close by, though. And it looks like they've pulled a huge creep wave for themselves. That's, I want to say it's 3 lanes of creeps, but instead, in reality, it's probably more like 2, 2.5. Because the third lane is up north. Yeah, this is a big wave that just spawned, so I guess he just got 2 waves of creeps. And they bring down all of them. So that helps mid lane push a lot. That helps bottom push a lot now. Naren Face, they get the smoke screen, but it doesn't connect. He force-taps himself away. EMP down, but he's taking so much damage. Will now pop into Ghost Walk. Meanwhile, Voidless Face is in close by. Doesn't have the Flesh Golem. In fact, won't pop it out. And his Tombstone will get brought down. So without anyone to keep alive, I guess he feels a little bit more useless in some of these fights. And the Force Staff, King Ryan away. They pop down with an Ice Path, or an Ice Wall, and they'll get themselves off on the retreat. Meanwhile, Happy Face farming up the top lane, getting a good chunk of gold from that. He actually went for a Dagon. Dagon, Aghanim Scepter. Dagonim Scepter, I guess. So he has a lot of magical burst damage that can fly out. The problem is he's got to wait. He's got to be able to use it on the right target. Don't use it on the refraction charges. Greedy will get Force Staff onto the cliff. Pops down with a Thunder God's Wrath, though, and Smooth Front will chase Judge Justin. But Greedy's still here. 10 seconds to be able to use or force himself off. And Smooth Front, meanwhile, be a Blade Mail, as well as a couple of Quill Sprays, is just able to sit up front, get up close and personal. They have a Fissure, but again, I don't quite think they kill this guy. In fact, if they commit 4, it could be quite the opposite. He might do exactly what he's been doing these past couple of fights and just ripping into them. Mid lane's pushing, though, and they've got a lot of super range creeps, so they're going to have to TP one person back, and it's going to be Themp helping keep this Rax alive. And just like that, the Radiant will back themselves off. The Dire holding on to a little bit of, or easing up the pressure, because of this. Pings come out for Roshan, though. It's from the Dire team. They have an idea that he's up. They're going to go ahead on in, and they spot him out. Now, Radiant have an Observer Ward here, so they know, they see him go in and back up. They have no idea whether or not it's spawned right now, but they know that the Dire have been checking it. So maybe they drop something in to check it for themselves. Do they have any way to drop some summons in? It doesn't look like it at the moment. Yeah, they really don't have much to check. Maybe a Thunder God's Wrath to check if they're in the pit, but they need to get close and drop a Psionic Trap to actually look inside the pit and get it that way. We're about 50 minutes into this game. 43-39 is what it ends up being right now. So plenty of action happening, but neither team really holding on to at least a visual lead. As far as the graphs go, an analytical lead, it actually is telling a pretty similar story. The Radiant have about a 4,000 gold advantage, 4,000 to 2,500 experience advantage, but at 40-50 minutes, those advantages mean almost nothing. So Thunder God's Wrath will drop. It's not going to catch them when they're in the pit, but the Radiant, I don't think they'd let this go a couple minutes without actually physically checking it. Tornado MP on the Greedy. He's going to use himself up. There's a Guardian Angel as well. This lasts a pretty decent sum of time. So the Dire, they have to back themselves off. Say, well, King Ryan will go down. Voidless Face also go down pretty much without a fight. That's not quite a hero that you want to lose. The Sniper, the Undying, yeah, you don't want to lose him. But the Sniper is pretty major in some of these fights. So Hard Turesk, I guess, being completed by Smooth Front. And that'll help him regen so quickly in some of these. Happy Face dropping really low. One Thunder God's Wrath and he'd be dead, but it's down for 50 seconds. They have no idea anyway. Tornado out. EMP as well. Maybe they can defend off this one. Ant-Man losing a lot of HP, or a lot of mana and HP, I guess. Now it looks like Radiant will begin to turn around in this one, but Smooth Front is very, very tanky. He begins to start to lay in onto Judge Justin, but still building up those Warpath stacks. Now they drop on out. Maybe a Sonic Trap slowing. Wally could be in a little bit of trouble, though the Nasal Goo, slowing him down quite a bit. Will Fisher himself off the Eul Scepter as well. All he needs to do is take a little bit of damage. He can get those Quill Sprays off onto Wally. Ends up continuing to stack him up. He's got 5 onto him. Only needs a couple of more. In fact, it's actually going to be the Greedy who might be in a little bit of trouble. Tornado comes out. Smooth Front so damn low. 2 seconds before the Heart can start regenning him up. Them, meanwhile, looking for more. It looks like he'll grab Happy Face. And Smooth Front, regenning 122 per second, is now setting up to go ahead and fight again. Getting everyone very low, but getting low himself, he can't continue to chase. And even though the Octane Core helps out a lot, again, it really only helps when you can get 5 stacks off in the middle of all 5 of the enemy team, or else you don't quite regen to sustain very well. And King Ryan is actually in the bottom lane looking for Ant-Man. Can't get the Assassinate off. Instead, Wally will come on in. Does he have a blink into an Echo Slam? It doesn't look like he has blink, but he does certainly have an Echo Slam. The Greedy will make his way in, though. Thunder God's Wrath, they know where King Ryan is for a short amount of time, but the Thunder God's Wrath, it does not last forever. And so Judge Justin cannot seem to narrow down the kill there. Though still dancing with death, getting very close to being taken down. Speaking of taken down, Roshan still alive. As the Dire, they look around the pit, maybe trying to take a fight here. Judge Justin is very much visible to the Dire team. If they can bring him down, this would be huge. He's out of mana, but you don't need mana to pop into permanent invisibility, so he'll get himself away. And they don't really have any further lockdown, though. That does kind of secure Roshan up for them. They know that he has to either back up to base or find some way to regen very quickly, because otherwise he doesn't quite have enough to accomplish a lot in the next fight. And so it looks like the Dire will grab themselves another Roshan in this game. That's a pretty decent Roshan to have. Having the Aegis, I imagine, would be on Bristleback again. And they could give it to Naren Face. No, they'll give it to Bristleback, and that allows him to... I mean, this is huge, because the Quill Spray stacks will persist through his death, as my headphones just decide to magically fly off my head. But the Quill Spray stacks will go ahead and persist through death. So if he can go down and come back alive and have 5 to 8 Quill Sprays on everyone on the enemy team, he comes back and he can continue to just lay those stacks on. And at that point, yes, he can sustain himself through just the Quill Spray alone. So it looks like Ant-Man up front, Smooth Front's up front as well. Needs to start getting those stacks down now, but maybe it's not even going to need to go down here as Wally dropping very low. A Guardian Angel, Smooth Front's up very far ahead, but this is exactly what he needs to be doing. He backs himself off for the time being, not totally sure if he really wants to be doing that, though. The Tombstone is not long for this world. It looks like it gets brought down, though I can't see much in the back of this EMP. So I am going to do something real quick here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of that. And now Judge Justin in a little bit of trouble. They go ahead, they steal all of his HP. They bring him down. Now he can buy back. Oh, God damn it. But it looks like now with a tornado flying through, they will go ahead, glyph up their structure. Smooth Front still has an Aegis and dropping plenty of Quill Spray stacks onto everyone. Now, again, he can try to sustain himself. He'll eventually get brought down. But the Quill Sprays, he's got plenty of them out and around the fight. So now he comes back with a couple of them on everyone. He'll start to try to lay him in. But if he gets kited, this could be a big issue for him. Instead, the Thunder God's Wrath coming out. He'll turn around to Themp. Now doing a lot of damage. Now, remember, he's got 6 Spray stacks on himself. And Smooth Front regenerating quite a bit from this, but a Yule Scepter out. No more quills onto anyone else here, so he's back to square one, and square one means almost certainly his death here. They've got Purify, maybe. Judge Justin isn't close by, and yes, he cannot sustain himself off the back of this one. Now, the racks do fall. That is a pretty major part of that fight. But the Radiant, they end up winning the actual engagement. Off the back of a couple buybacks, I suppose. You can take a look at how many were spent. It looks like Sniper did use one. So he's actually still in his own base. He used it to defend his base. But the only other buyback being spent is Judge Justin. So I guess not that many buybacks being used. It looks like the Dire just dead without buyback because they didn't end up saving up for it. And the Radiant will try to go for a push of their own. Now, no Tier 3 Tier 2 towers left standing for the Dire team. So the Radiant could just go ahead and push up onto the high ground, but pushing high ground against the Sniper is very difficult. And backdoor protection is up, so they can glyph this one and it will regen all the way back up to where it was, or at least get pretty close. Now, in comes Naren Face looking for an engagement, but he can't quite catch anyone with that EMP Chaos Meteor after the tornado comes down. The Greedy, though, on the run. They've got Norkid out onto him. They don't have any idea Judge Justin's there, though. Now they have an idea, but he goes back into permanent invisibility just as quick. They'll drop down with a Cold Snap, but he gets out of range of that Sentry Warden. So the Radiant will put themselves back up to the high ground. King Ryan chasing after them, but nothing much to say about that. And so 56 minutes in, the Radiant will go ahead once again and go for this push. They dive on into King Ryan, but Visions being such a huge problem for them. Now remember, the Sentry Ward is there, so Judge Justin after this push is going to have a lot of trouble. Voidless facing a lot of damage. Thunder God's Wrath in between all these right clicks. They'll bring him down. Now they'll pop out in to a Guardian Angel. This gives Smooth Front a little bit of time to go ahead and try to drop some Quill Sprays up without actually taking any, without actually doing much damage. But the Greedy will get brought down. There's an Assassin to fly through now. Echo Slam gets popped, but Wally's just as good as dead. Now, there is a buyback on the Greedy, but he dropped down with his Thunder God's Wrath, so there's not much he can do if he does buy back. And Ant-Man on the run, Smooth Front, is just going to continue to chase into him. Now, 4 Quill Sprays, they've got one on the Nasal Goo, too, so they should just be able to bring him down. Meanwhile, Themp, trying to split push out, will bring down a Tier 3 tower. Can he actually grab a Raxian? No, King Ryan is just going to go ahead and man fight with him. Actually evades the Meld Strike with a Shadow Blade. And Themp will get brought down because of his hyper-aggressive play. Judge Justin, though, maybe looking for a hyper-aggressive play of his own. Can he get a counteraxe? He looks like he will be able to get it off. Will he pay for it with his life, though? Smooth Front's going on in, and it looks like Judge Justin is in the clear. Oh, man, that counteraxing really hurts for the Dire. As everyone dead on the Radiant have buybacks, so they can't do a push of their own. And just like that, I mean, the Radiant now with, I guess, a golden experience advantage. Yeah, very shallow golden experience advantage. But it is an advantage nonetheless. They no longer are at the Rax disadvantage, though. You can tell with the counteraxing done, both sides are missing their mid lane Rax. But the kicker here is that the Tier 3 is gone on the Dire's bottom lane. So as far as the objective lead goes, the Radiant definitely have it right now. Shallow, but they've got it. And so the Dire will group up and they'll start to just kind of farm out their own jungle. Invoker with that Octarine Core with the Aghanim Scepter, looking, I guess, for a BKB. Though the Orc Club can build in... No, never mind. He's already got the Aghanim Scepter. What am I talking about? So BKB probably what's up for him. Bristleback with a plate mail. I really like this. Armor is going to be so useful for him, especially with all this raw HP that he's built up. He's got a decent chunk of armor, but that gives an extra 10. So now he's got so much more. The mitigation is going to be absolutely real from the physical damage that comes out. The magical damage, I guess, hurts a lot. But with an Assault Cuirass, oh, those Quill Sprays are going to hurt so much more as well. Oh, God. Even Sniper is going to start hurting a lot. He's got 2,000 gold. Hasn't really progressed in his items, but he doesn't exactly need to. He just has to sit back and deal some damage, and he's good. Is this a gem purchase up? Yeah, Smoothfront's got a gem. So on top of being very tanky, now he's got a Gem of True Sight with him. So they shouldn't really have to worry about the Riki, I guess. So the push in through the mid lane, Narrow Face makes his way. He pushed out a little bit from the top, but this mid lane push is going to help him out a lot because through this mid, they can go ahead and they can push other lanes with it. And having it constantly pushed as well reduces the Radiant's opportunity to go ahead and choke out the Dire. So they're going to go for quite another fight here. They're feeling very confident. They're feeling very aggressive, like they could be kings of the world right now. And they've got the gem. They've got plenty of tankiness. They've got to keep King Ryan alive. But if they can do that, they can most certainly win this game. So they'll go after the bottom racks now. The tier 3 very low, but backdoor protection is down. And they're trying to find Ant-Man. He'll pop himself into Repel. Who do they find? It's actually going to be Themp. This could be a very good kill for them, and it is. That is a die back onto Themp. He is gone. Unfortunately, King Ryan is also dead, but that's fairly inconsequential. Voidless Face, he needs to stay alive. The damage amp is a lot for them right now. Judge Justin will not go down. He'll bring down Voidless Face, but Judge Justin actually getting very low. Now Happy Face on the run. Smooth Front, they need to go ahead and they need to do something here. But it looks like neither him nor Naren Face can actually turn onto this one. And they don't actually get the tier 3 bottom. Instead, they back themselves off, and they should be able to get themselves away. But just a very problematic fight. Leads up to a another win for the Radiant team. And the big issue that they're having here is keeping these guys alive. I mean, how do you deal with a Riki when you've got no real way to stun lock him? Yes, you've got the Invoker, but he's not enough. I would almost imagine that maybe you just go out and you buy a Basher onto Sniper and an Abyssal Blade onto Smoothfront just to get the added chance to maybe stun Judge for a short amount of time. So meanwhile, Smoothfront will farm. He's very close, about 2,000 gold away from his, or 2,200 gold, 2,100 gold away from the Assault Cuirass. And that's going to be a very nice item for him to have. Certainly doesn't make or break the game for them. But any real advantage that you can get is very substantial. So Judge Justin up onto the high ground. There's going to be a Hex, but doesn't amount to much. Now they go for the EMP combo with the Chaos Meteor leading off with the Tornado. And Judge Justin's actually just going to drop here now. He's got 122 seconds on the sidelines. He does have buyback, but forcing the buyback now could be huge. Because if they can bring him down again after that buyback, he'll be down for a very good amount of time. Unfortunately, they don't force the buyback immediately. That'd be hilarious. 122 seconds buyback and then die again. Oh boy, you're looking at 140 to 150 seconds on the sidelines. And that's enough to just win the game. So he will end up buying back. So he'll be down on the sidelines for a good 128 seconds again. But meanwhile, we're going to have them pushing up the top lane. So the Dire can't commit full on to a push. King Ryan, though, not sure you can do this alone. He's going to have Naren Face in, though. Yeah, they should be able to bring down Themp off the back of this one. Orchid, so he can't meld, can't do anything. He just gets taken down a peg. Now the Orchid will end. The Deafening Blast comes through. Maybe a little bit late. He'll finally drop down with a meld. And they're not able to bring him down. Meanwhile, Judge Justin finds Smoothfront. So Themp eventually goes down, but that's big. And can they buy another gem here? It looks like Yeah, they do have another Gem of True Sight ready to go if they really wanted a gem, but it's still a very problematic kill to give up. The Bristleback, oof. So we're looking at how this is progressing down here in the bottom, and I mean, Judge Justin, so difficult to deal with. This is a basher completed, so not only is he hitting for a good chunk of damage, I mean, backstab, what, 2x, or 1.25, sorry, x your agility? He's sitting at 200 agility, so his right click, dear God, it's an extra 225 to 250 damage. On top of his already 200 or 300 so damage, like, hitting for about 500 damage per right click. You can take your armor mitigations and your bristleback mitigations all you want, but that's big. And he actually fresh buys a diffusal blade just to get more diffusal charges. So he actually can have even more agility, 15 more agility once he upgrades that diffusal blade. Oh boy, this is a lot of damage that can come out from the Riki. So Judge Justin now beginning to push out through the bottom lane. Doesn't have much support. But, I mean, there's not really much to bring him down here. And so Themp will go ahead, grab himself some boots of travel. The rest will push in towards the mid lane. Dire is just feeling so gimped right now. 65 minutes in. They don't really have their carry farming as much as he needs to be farming. Still the same items he's had for the past 20 to 30 minutes. But Narenface has pretty much been the glue to hold this together. Him and Smoothfront have been doing an absolute massive amount. Oh no, they can bring down Judge Justin here. If they can get him, this would be huge. A Guardian Angel helping keep him alive. He has to turn and start fighting soon. Voidless Face giving that damage amp out to all of them. But now with the Deathling Blast, Narenface with the BKB. Judge Justin still in the middle of it all. They still have vision of him. They're going to try to bring him down. Voidless Face going to get brought down, but Judge Justin, oh man, he's still alive. Smoothfront looking for Ant-Man. They've got an assassinate. They bring Judge Justin in the air. Oh man, the amount they're committing to bring him down is so huge, but they haven't been able to do so just yet. He's still walking under that sentry ward. He'll get brought down 130 seconds without buyback. Meanwhile, all this is happening. Themp on the top lane isn't able to bring down a rack, so the Dire 100 seconds to play around with without that Riki. Oh boy, they could probably end the game right here, right now, but they're going to go for Roshan. Themp, meanwhile, not quite the maneuver you want to be doing. Looking to steal the Aegis, and Smoothfront a little bit early. Can he get it off? He will snatch the Aegis Immortality. But can they chase him down because of this? It looks like they can't. Remember that Sentry Ward's still there. And, yep. Life 1 goes down. Invisibility gone. He can't meld immediately because remember that Sentry Ward is there. Has to get out of range of it and then meld. Will try to do so, but he's gone. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and refresh because that refraction shield is screwing me up. So quite a back and forth game. Actually, if you take a look at the graphs as I've got them up. Dire pulling a lead again in Golden Experience. Not quite in kills, not quite in buildings. But they still have about 50 to 70 seconds to work with without the 2 cores of the Radiant being alive and well. Guardian Angel up in 40 seconds as well, but he's got a Refresher's Orb, so I guess buildings, they don't really care about that. But Smooth Front, backdoor protection will be down right about now, so he can move up to the high ground and take this tower. And it looks like Narenface as well, going to pressure the top. This could be huge. They're going to go ahead. Actually, King Ryan is the one they want to go on. That opens up a huge amount of space. The bottom tower in a lot of trouble. The top tower in a lot of trouble. King Ryan actually gets himself away. Now Narenface looking for some kills. They still haven't gotten anything in return. Wally was going for a Fisher, but it won't. Actually does connect just barely. But the bottom racks are gone. In the meantime, the top tier 3 tower taking a lot of damage. King Ryan's laying into that. The top racks could be gone as well. They got to be very careful of this one. Judge Justin's back. But the top racks, they're as good as dead. They actually drop down with a Guardian Angel. This is much needed from them. They've got a Refresher's Guardian too, so this rack should be able to stay alive. And it looks like Narenface taking a lot of damage from Judge Justin. Narenface should go down here. Smooth Front now trying to lay into these racks. Can he bring it down in the meantime? He's on the other side of the Fisher. He's actually got full HP right now. Sustaining through those Quill Sprays, but the Guardian Angel will make it impossible for him to do damage. The Quills are still stacking 12 Quill Sprays. If this Guardian Angel ends, one Quill Spray is actually going to heal him up pretty much to full. You can take a look at that. And he's actually regenning just from the Quills, but it's not going to be enough in the end. The top racks, they want to bring it down. They do! They get Mega Creeps. 4 of them have buyback. And now Radiant, they have to push into Megas. 70 minutes in. Definitely worth it for the Dire team. Again, if you can suicide from Megas and have buyback, it's 100% worth it. Because all you got to do is stall. From here on out, all you have to do is stall. You can't lose a fight. You don't have to win a fight. You just have to stall it out, and the Mega Creeps will do the rest. So Invoker will be the first, in fact, they're all buyback. And that is what Radiant, that probably made their hearts drop to the pit of their stomach. Like, that cannot happen. So top rack's taking a little bit of damage, and, I mean, Themp, if he can do this, would be huge, but unfortunately, I mean, yeah, he's as good as dead. Still sustaining pretty well. There's going to be a Deafening Blast fly through, but it's not going to hit onto Judge Justin. Does not get the disarm from it. Ant-Man taking a lot of damage. Does not have any Guardian Angels up just yet. And just like that, I mean, yeah, the Dire are stalling. Now, they've lost their sniper, but they haven't lost anyone else. Narenface still up. Okay, maybe they've lost 2 other people. But Narenface still up. And what's this? Smooth Front? Being a bit of a dick to the enemy's Ancient. Maybe this is a play they needed, maybe not. Narenface is actually going to go down. Remember, these are all buybacks for the Dire team. But Smooth Front is playing this one very, very aggressive. Could he actually base race this one? Ant-Man's there. There are Mega Creeps in the Radiant's base. So Ant-Man should be taking a lot of damage here. And the Dire, Radiant, they're struggling to get Mega Creeps of their own. Backdoor protection's down, and it's down for a while. They can't do this. They've got to go back to base and defend. But just like that, there's so many Mega Creeps. Them taking a lot of damage. He could go down to Megas. Oh, man. He stays alive, but... Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's a little bit too much damage. So just like that, the Radiant will win this, or lose this game. The Dire end up taking the win. What a hell of a game. I can't chalk up a lot of that to the sniper, but he did damage to the base when they needed it most. And I guess that helped out a lot. But throughout everything, amazingly well played from both teams. But unfortunately, you can't have both teams winning a game of Dota. So GG, well played. Dire victory. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Chicago Ted with another episode of the Golden Aegis cast series. If you want your own replay cast, you can go ahead and check the description of this video for any details you need for that. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.